What's up, bro? Look, we both decked out in our football gear today.
Yeah, what's up?
I wish I had the
Sorry, I
memo.
I literally just walked in the door from the Bears game this week.
Oh, yeah, I heard that they won.
Yeah, it was a lot of
It
fun. It's
was
the
your
first
first
time
game?
yeah,
How was it?
it was awesome. I will be going to many more.
I haven't been to a football game in a while. I went to a Patriots game a few years ago, and the fans get crazy there.
Yeah, I
They
bet.
do
Where are you
indeed.
from?
I'm originally from Michigan, and I was just going to say, like, of course, the Lions suck every year. So I moved to
Yeah.
Boston about 10 years ago, and at least, the Patriots, although they're not my favorite team, at least they win games. So
I'm
unlike
sorry,
the
I can like you
Can't
a
Lions.
little
argue
bit
with
more
that.
now. You said they weren't your favorite team, so I guess we can be friends.
No, sometimes I would root for them to lose because every time they win the Super Bowl, there's a parade and it
Sure.
just stops everything,
Oh,
It's like
sure.
thousands of people in the streets, and it's just like, I don't need this.
I can't wait for the day that my team has a Super Bowl winning parade.
One day. That would be pretty cool to have like your song in like the Super Bowl ads. Don't let some bands have their song played in
Oh, we would
the
love to do that. That'd be
commercials.
great. So we would like nothing better.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that yesterday at the game. I was like, we need to get our music played over these PA systems at the football games.
When you pay enough money, I bet they'll let you in.
I could see that. I think you guys have the right sound and energy for that.
I
For sure.
agree.
For sure. That is
Well,
one thing
speaking
that we
of-
definitely will agree on.
I should jump into talking about your latest single, Cut Me Out.
Yeah.
I have to say it's a killer tune full of, cool guitar riffs and energy.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. We worked very hard on this album, and we're stoked to finally be able to get it out to people.
Cool guitarist and energy were definitely both on the checklist for things we
Yes.
wanted on the record.
For
so
sure.
we're off to a good start.
Yes, definitely. What was the experience like making the music video?
It's a lot of fun because especially since Cut Me Out, I think for all of us was like our first legit music video. And we played the song. I don't even remember how many times we played the song, but
All
it was a
day.
lot. It was a lot. And by the end of it, you're just so beat and your neck is hurting the next day and everything just is sore, but it's a lot of fun. It really is. And it's really cool to see, from the beginning, how it turns out, the process of it was pretty cool
I'll say it's
to
like
watch.
really fun, I find, now that we've done a couple of them, because it's like obviously you want to play the stuff right, especially as a guitar player. I feel like I just kind of get to go out there and like act a fool, for a little while and not really have to worry about sounding good or anything. So it's really fun. It's kind of like a glorified like move practice session. You like go out there and practice your stage moves a
Yeah.
little bit. So pretty fun.
But it's like practicing your stage moves for the first time because you haven't played them on stage yet. So you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I got to figure out how to move to this song the way I want to move to
But like
it.
with the pressure of doing it for the first time on stage because it's going to be documented on film forever.
No doubt.
Yeah. So you have to make sure you look cool.
Sure. That's because that's what's important.
That's the
Right?
goal.
It's all about the image.
That's what
I'm
they
just
say.
kidding. But there's also a guitar solo in this song. So what was your approach with the guitar solo for this specific song?
And just in the video in general,
Oh,
or
like in the recording.
I'm not really sure I have an approach for guitar solos, to be honest. I just
I know
Mostly
your approach.
improvised.
Scotty
I know
thinks he
Cody's
knows my
approach to
approach.
guitar. I do. I totally know Cody's approach to guitar solos.
Okay.
It's pick every note that Scotty would not expect you to pick, and that makes me smile at the end.
I mean,
That's one thing. I think that's one thing that like stands out about Cody's guitar solos and his lead parts is like he's really good at picking unexpected melodies, and that's what's super cool about it. It's because it kind of throws you off. You're like, ooh, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't expecting that.
That's good. Thanks, Scotty.
You're
It really
welcome,
made me
bro.
feel good there, man. No, that's honestly my approach with just the solos in general. That's kind of like my chance, I guess, to speak, a little bit more as a guitar player, because usually Scotty's the one that does a lot of the speaking. And I don't know, I just try to make my guitar talk a little bit, like I'm not the fastest guy or maybe even the smoothest guy. I'm kind of in the middle ground somewhere, and I just really try to focus on writing things that, like Scotty said, I guess are interesting and unexpected, but I want it to sound human, really. Let sound like me. That's my only goal. It's like how can I talk without using words? And that's what happens.
I like that.
Cool.
Kind of just make
Hey,
your
that's a cool
guitar
question.
sing.
Nobody ever asks about the guitar solo. So
Sure,
that's kind of
yeah.
cool.
As soon as she said guitar solos, my face was like, yes.
No, I'm a big guitar solo fan. So
Awesome. As
do you
am
guys
I,
have
clearly.
do you have like a favorite guitar solo? Or do you
I don't-
have like a guitarist who you really admire when they
That's a little bit
solo?
easier, I think, because like just picking one guitar solo
Yeah,
would be
I
nearly
thought that, and like
impossible.
that's too hard.
I'm sure we both do. Scotty's a really good guitar player too, so he brings a lot of guitar playing influence to the table as well. I'm sure between the two of us, there are lists of, really good guitar influences.
Yeah, but the cool thing is like most of Cody's influences are gonna be like lead guys, and I'm influenced by a lot of rhythm players like like Coheed and Cambria. Like it blows my mind that that dude can play what he
I don't
plays
know.
and sing what he
That's
sings.
not that's not painting us in a fair light, because we're both, a lot more dimensional than that, I would say.
That's
Because
true. That's true.
specifically in the writing of Artifice, it kind of sucks. Like I hate this about our writing process, because I kind of pigeon myself in this hole as a lead player where I don't get to play a lot of the cool like rhythm riffs, and like we spend all the time writing the riffs, and it turns out that a lot of the times the rhythm is the cooler part, and I get stuck just doing like some twinkly stuff on top of it, but I guess it's cool because that makes my job easier, but it's definitely way less fun.
Well, Reflections is the new album, and you guys spent like 2 years writing, recording it independently. So how was that experience? And I'm
more
sure you
than
guys are
that,
excited.
yeah.
Probably like
So
4 years.
4 years?
All said and done, yeah.
We started writing it 4 years ago, and that's kind of when we came up with the bare bones, like the skeleton of the ideas that we were doing. And we would step away from a minute, we'd be on tour, and then we'd come back off tour and we'd kind of mess with them some more. And then about 2 years ago, when we finished our last tour, and it's been a while since we've been on the road because of COVID and all that, so we went to Michigan to record a 5-song EP, and that's what we were going to do at first. Everybody kept telling us we've always liked full lengths, because we grew up in that time when you'd go to the record store and you'd buy the CD and you'd look at the artwork and you'd read inside of it and learn about who did this
And
everything.
that's evolved for me even further now since we've done this record, because I find, not to distract from your point, but
Sure.
the full album thing for me as an artist is just easier, because I feel like I have so much to say, and it's impossible to say all those things in only a few songs. And that, I don't think we realized that initially. We just wanted to put a full record out so our fans would have dope stuff to look at and hear. But like now that we chose to do it that way, it's like I don't think we could have said everything we needed to say if we only had 4 or 5 songs. And
100%.
that's kind of why we felt the need to go that route.
Yeah, and so we got home from Michigan, and it wasn't that the songs were bad. They just didn't feel they were genuinely Artifice, and we didn't feel that it was genuine to who we were as musicians. And so we just took a step back and we said, let's just start over. And we made the record ourselves. Cody and I have been in studios since we were both probably 16, maybe even younger for Cody.
Yeah.
And so we've been around producers, and every time I've ever been in the studio and him, we're always like right next to the producer going, what are you doing? What's that button do?
Producers probably hate working with us, to be honest. We just like stare over their shoulders and tell them how we want them to change everything the entire time.
So we were like, you know what? We know what to do. We know how to make what we want to make, and let's give it a shot. And it was kind of nerve-wracking at first, because we were like, we wanted to be able to pull this off, and it to be able to compete with, you know, Breaking Benjamin and Papa Roach and Asking Alexandria. We wanted to be able to compete with those guys who are going to record in these multi-million-dollar studios, you know. And we're in Cody's Cody's man cave studio, and at the time my kitchen studio to my bedroom studio, and but at the end of the day, like, we really made something that we were proud of and that we felt was 100% ours, and we were happy with it, and we knew that it was going to translate that way. So I'm really happy we took that approach. It was scary at first, and
it was terrifying. It was terrifying.
Yeah,
Scotty had a couple of years, you know, I would say like what, 3 to 4 years of, you know, producing experience. You probably dabbled, not necessarily strictly in the rock world, but just in general. And I wouldn't necessarily, you know, call that exorbitant amounts of experience, but if you combine that with all the time that we've spent in studios, like he said, with other producers, and we just absorb that stuff like sponges every time we go in there. And it was really scary because I only bought recording gear and a rig because I wanted to demo out our tracks, and so the guys could come over and we could just throw down guitar riffs and start working on things. And that slowly kind of evolved after the ARTIFAS thing into doing a lot more than that. So I had never done anything like that, you know, with that much pressure and responsibility up until that point. And Scotty was just like, I think we could do it, man. Let's just do it. And I'm like, okay, let's try it out. It was the whole time, you know, all the way up until literally the first song came out to Cut Me Out. There was definitely a sense of nerves surrounded, you know, around that, and just hoping that, I guess, our makeshift album that we somehow managed to put together was going to sound good enough for people to like.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it was a challenge, but, you know, as they say, where there's a will, there's a way, and I guess
Absolutely.
It's definitely a huge tool that I look forward to utilizing for us in the future, because I know that, you know, Scotty and I both just learned so much through that process and on other projects since then. And the next time we get in the studio to record an ARTIFAS record, it's probably going to sound awesome.
No, I definitely see your point that if you're going to put something out to the world, you want it to be your vision and something you fully support and that you love yourself. So,
and like he said, you know, the songs weren't bad, and to that point, 4 of the 5 songs that we originally wrote and recorded for that EP actually made it on to the full-length record. They just got, you know, kind of completely revamped, and it was one of those situations where we always feel as a band, like numerous writers and producers we've worked with, you know, everybody, because I guess people think about money, you know, the money is what kind of drives everything, and they want you to write that hook. They want you to spend all your time focusing on those lyrics, and those things are super important, and those things make the song. But for us, we're a band that's rooted in, you know, like we're like 5 columns of awesomeness, and we have to pay attention to all of those columns for us to feel like we're, you know, really getting to the core of that song. And it just felt like a lot of the producers didn't really care about the crazy drum fills or the guitar riffs or the guitar solos, you know, and those were the things that we wanted. And we're like, if you're telling us we can't do this, we're just going to go do it by ourselves over here in our dark little corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fans like me want that too.
Sure.
I want my guitar solos. I want my guitar riffs.
Well, we're music fans, you know, like we get in our cars and turn on, you know, other artists and nerd out about them the same way that hopefully people do about us. And at the end of the day, when we're writing music, we want to make the fans happy, but we know if we as listeners are happy with it, then there's going to be a certain amount of people out there that are going to like that too. So
Absolutely.
we made a record that we would want to listen to, and we probably do.
Yeah.
So how many tracks will be on the album?
Technically
10 songs, but there's an intro track that is like track 11, I guess. Actually, it's track 1, but it's the 11th track. So 10 full songs.
Oh, nice. And is there a specific release date yet, or I should say concrete release date?
We did have one, but things are kind of shifting right now. So
with the way everything's changing again, you know, a lot of tours getting canceled and shows, and you know, COVID's starting to shut things down again. So we're kind of having to revamp the plan a little bit, but it's not going to be too different.
I
We're
would
gonna
say at
release.
latest, the full album should hopefully be out by early next year, early 2022 at the latest. Originally, we were slated to have the entire album out, by like November, but it seems like things are kind of going to be pushed back a little bit.
So we're still going to be dropping, instead of dropping just a couple singles, then drop the album, we're going to be dropping single. We're just going to keep putting them out like that. That way, we're always giving something new to the fans. We actually just wrapped up shooting another music video, and we're kind of going over that tomorrow to start getting that finalized for the next song that's coming out. So we're trying to make sure to give our fans more consistent content, because when we dropped Inhuman, our last record, we put the single out and then the record came out, and not every song was able to get a heartbeat and just get a life of its own. And so that's the goal with these releases, is to make sure every song gets a fair shot,
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that way they can get a taste of the album and build up some excitement for the release.
Sure.
Yeah. Awesome. I wanted to ask you guys, what's your favorite rock concert that you attended as a fan?
Oh
man, let's see.
I know mine. I don't have to think. I mean, I've seen a lot of really good shows, but I know my favorite. Scotty was there for it.
I was about to say, I think we probably have the favorite one, because it had, it's funny, we didn't know each other at that time, but we were both at the same.
Not that one. That's my second favorite. I was going to say a different one.
Okay.
But go ahead, tell that story, because is that your favorite? Go ahead.
The first time I saw Fuel, and
I remember Fuel.
It was Smile Empty Soul opening up for Fuel, and I'd seen a lot of like local stuff, and I'd been to some country concerts with my mom, growing up. And Garth Brooks, I saw him when I was a kid, and that was honestly a huge impact on me doing what I do. And the dude was flying over the crowd like Peter Pan with a guitar. But when I saw Fuel the first time, that was like the first big rock show I saw, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that. And from that moment on, my focus has been music.
That was I was at that show. I was actually 10 when that show happened. My uncle took me. That was my first rock show ever, and definitely probably the biggest impact on me as far as like seeing concerts, because I left that show just completely enamored with everything that had to do with rock and roll. But if I had to pick a show that I just enjoyed the most and have the most fond memories of, it would have to be when Scotty and I went to see Red for my 18th. No, it wasn't for my birthday. It was just because I was 18 at the time.
Yeah.
And we were front row at the Exit Inn in Nashville to see Red, and they killed it.
Pretty awesome show.
And I got to scream into the microphone.
Red Hot Chili Peppers?
No, Red. just the band Red.
Okay.
Yeah, like a Nashville-based Christian rock
band.
Oh,
okay.
So, yeah, it was a crazy show. We had a good time and sang all the words, and I don't know, it was it's one of those experiences that I find hard to duplicate nowadays. It's like
I looked over and caught a tear going down Cody's face.
Oh, I cried like most of that show. Like that's the signature sign that it's a good concert, is I'm crying.
Oh, yeah.
Because good music just moves me like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Is there a band that you would die to go on tour with, like share the stage with?
Oh yeah. I would die to go on tour with, or even just play a show with, Carnival or Incubus. Those two bands have been such a huge influence to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to just go on tour with Carnival. I feel like it'd be cool, but Seven Dust would be cool. I think just because I feel like we really fit into that style and that energy that they have. So I feel like
they put on a good show.
Really, sure, yeah. I mean,
that'd be a slamming tour.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That tour gets me excited. A lot of energy around that. So I feel like that'd be cool.
Well, I'm sure it'll happen one day.
Hopefully.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
If COVID would just go away,
Indeed.
Yeah, right.
That'd make everybody's lives a little easier, I think.
Well, guys, I really appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to mention before we sign off?
I would just say for everybody to go to all our socials, and like everything, subscribe and share away, go stream the song, go play it over and over and over again. The fans are the gasoline that keeps the motor running. And and without them, you know, we can't do anything. So the more you guys are out there playing it and spreading the love and showing people who Artifice is, like the higher the top this is going to go.
And we've got a lot of new announcements that are going to be coming out. We got a lot of new music we're going to be pushing out, you know, over the coming months, I guess, and new music videos. I don't know, you know, how many we're going to shoot, but we have a little bit of a music video fever right now, and I'm not hating it. So we just got a lot of new content. People, you know, if they're interested, keep an eye on our socials, tour dates, all of that stuff is coming hopefully soon. So just stay tuned in. We got a lot more dialed up.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thanks again, guys. I really appreciate your time, and I'm glad your team won for your first NFL game.
Wish me luck.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
gonna need it today.
Well, enjoy the
thanks for
rest of
having
your
us,
Sunday.
Jen.
Thanks
You
for
too.
having us.